Chiwa, what were telling me about your book? That would go into round one.
Oh, you want me to tell you again?
Yeah, for the record.
Um, well, my Griffey book and my Pluck book, I have these two heroes that are animal heroes, and one of them's an ecological hero, and the other one's a hero of the heart. And they're coming together now into the same book series, and they're going to get together through the Green Song Band, because my company is called Green Song Press. And I was looking for a way to make it more kid oriented, the name. So I made this wonderful header that's got, I just made the characters being a band. One of them's playing the piano, one of them's playing the drum. And then Griffey, the parrot cat, is singing with a microphone in front of him. And I wrote a little green song to go along with it. And then I decided that we would have the kids write green songs too, the kids that join my Griffey's Kids Club. And all that is happening, and that's really exciting for me. It's fun. I've been having a great time. I'm really glad I love what I do.
Yes.
This is better than the clown business for sure.
For sure. And you're having more joy.
Yes.
That I was told this weekend that so many people live lives where they do things they don't enjoy because they're doing it to survive. And I got lumped into that boat, and I said, but that wasn't how I felt. I mean, if I'd had my needs met, I would have done what I was doing for free. It was like I enjoyed what I was doing. So
yeah, I remember you enjoyed what you were doing.
Any old business, round two, old business, lingering thoughts from last week. I don't remember last week. Do you?
Yeah, I do remember last week, but we've talked about it already. It was us all talking about. Well, I remember that Nissan was saying that we should do hydrogen fuel cell cars.
Yes.
And it kind of, yeah, we talked about that sort of stuff.
And my sense was that if we're going to be addicts, we should pick the addiction that's the least harmful. In that, I think that I don't know about most, a lot of people are not willing to give up their convenience. And
yes.
So until that happens, anyway, all right, round three, new business. Does anyone have a burning desire to share or to clear before we start the dialogue? And I do, not a burning desire. But I'm trying to figure out how the American Union and the Citizens Assembly or the Citizens Climate Lobby, how they fit together, because the lobby is a tight focus on one particular subject, and the blueprint is everything.
No, it's not.
Well, the blueprint is more general.
Yeah, it's more general.
And so, and how do you get people, like I was just at the North Carolina People's Party in North Carolina, and how do you get them to realize, well, for right now, you could sign up in the American Union, and for this time around, until you get your party built, we could act like a unit outside of any party.
Did you get to talk to them?
I didn't talk to them, but I could. I'm in their group now. I mean, I'm accepted in their group.
This is North Carolina?
Yeah, it's funny. That's where Brian moved to North Carolina. North Carolina's a happening place.
Yeah, North Carolina is pretty aware. Well, what got me, I mean, was the thing about the Republicans and the Democrats. Neither one of them is doing what needs to be done. So here's a way we could join together and impact that.
Right. So, and it's funny, I was watching the North Carolina group and they were reading they're working on.
So first of all, let me ask you, what is this North Carolina group? North Carolina what group?
It's the People's Party of North Carolina. So they want to be a third party. So what I'm thinking, all these people, to be a third party, it takes a long time and it's a lot of work.
And it's almost, well, you can elect some local people sometimes with a third
Yes, and
party.
if you start at a local level, it's much easier, but they're starting like most people, they want to start at the federal level. That's where the excitement is.
Well, that's where they're gonna fail.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Okay. Round 4. Visit the American Union website. And I've got the link so we can go there. Share reading the text out loud. Go around with thoughts and reactions. You have never been to the American Union website, have you?
I think I have, yeah. Yeah. This is the statement that I found convincing right there.
Right.
And it should maybe have another third line under it that would say something like, a third party will just distract us.
Right. Republicans and Democrats divide us. The American Union can unite us, and third parties distract us. The American Union is a union of swing voters willing to ignore divisive partisan politics and put the focus back on the constitutional duties to each other. When 3.5% of Americans unite, our votes will decide the balance of power in Washington, which, with the leverage from Congress in the 2022 midterms, we demand Congress meet our terms and put our crowdsourced legislation on the president's desk in exchange for our winning block of votes on November 8th, 2022. Read more about this innovative strategy in this Median article. So the American Union is cooperative democracy. Rational adults can disagree without fighting, and we can find solutions if we can agree on our goals. Luckily, the founding fathers left us with a list of duties in the Constitution: establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. When we get back to basics, we can end poverty and mass incarceration and end the endless wars. So now go around with thoughts and reactions. I'm to go first, Chiwa.
Well, I think it's a noble purpose. I don't have a lot to say about it right now.
Okay, I have something that's it kind of tugs at me. When I get around how these people are right in with the politicians and doing the legislation, working on the actual legislation in with the Congress and stuff. And I see how many people are involved. There's like hundreds of people wandering around in the room with their own ideas, talking to these politicians. And it's like, there's no focus. There's no, the citizens assemblies focused on, the citizens climate lobbies focused on the climate, on the carbon tax and redistribution. Brian's got a more general approach, but then there's people in there that are about, we have all these different issues that come up that Brian tried to address them in the blueprint, But it does seem overwhelming, and I'm glad there's a big group working on it. That's what I can say about that.
Yes, it does seem overwhelming. It is overwhelming. That's then nothing, you know, I don't know. It's overwhelming.
And then I go back to creating the peace inside and living. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I got no clue what's going on.
Are you the one who sent me the video about the woman with a funny name up in Seattle who's a Marxist who has been?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That was cool.
Yeah. And and that reminds me, there's participatory budgeting. And that, see, what happens there is you get more like in a community setting. Maybe that's what's happening. I need to be more focused like on a community, but I don't know. Oceanside doesn't seem much fun to me. I don't know.
Oceanside's, yeah, I agree. Oceanside's not much fun. But I sometimes go to Oceanside City Council meetings if I have a cause that I want to speak on. And all those people there are all about capitalism. And not all those people, everybody but Esther on the city council is more concerned about money than anything else, I think.
I know. I was, I don't know if I have it now or not. I don't have it now anyway.
What?
I was writing about, okay, I was listening to these videos on the, for that climate lobby. So the first two guys, they had two representatives and they were into, well, we need to be bipartisan. If it's not bipartisan, it's really not going to work. And that we need to hear the other side and we need to respect the other side. And meanwhile, what they're really saying is you need to do it our way, which is to just hold back and go slow and not make much changes. And so,
Yeah, and we already know that doesn't work.
right. And they're concerned and they're like, what I wrote down was they have this concern about losing jobs.
Yep.
And it's like, there's also, there's research that says there'll be more jobs if we go green than what we're doing now with the fossil fuels. It'd be 2.3 times as many jobs.
Yeah. People have a hard time seeing that. Well, go ahead.
I just got that information today. The 2.3 times. $1 trillion worth of business.
I hadn't heard that number.
1 million new jobs, high paying jobs from, I think it was from $60,000 to $100,000 a job. I mean, that's just barely middle class anymore, but that's definitely better than what they would like to start you at. It's like about 20 or 30,000 is what the capitalism wants you at.
Right. So I have something that's kind of interesting if we're just kind of.
You're chatting.
Okay. There was, well, a couple things. One is, I think people, it's really hard for people to focus on climate change. You know, it's not in your face until it is, and then it's hard because you're in an emergency situation. So, you know, it's kind of, and I was reading an article today that in Phoenix, Saturday, it was 114 degrees and people are dying.
Yes.
And it was, you know, it's miserable right here, and, you know, pretty close to us. And, but we're not feeling it here so much at all.
No, we're isolated into a little pocket of pleasure.
Yeah, we are in a little pocket of pleasure, right? And so it makes it hard for people to wake up to it.
Well, I had this guy was saying that, are you a scientist? I am, and that's all. None of that's true. It's
Uh,
all, and I'm thinking I don't need to be a scientist to look out my door and tell there's it's it's happening. I
How
mean,
can you, what do you see when you look out the door here that tells you that?
that it rains more than it used to at different times than it used to. Like the patio is, I call rain is when the patio gets wet, but it used to be June gloom, and then it was like we're in June, right? We're not having June gloom
We were earlier, but not
earlier,
now.
right? So it's changed. We're having more like moving towards summery weather now.
Yeah, but you know, it's always kind of up and down through May and June.
And I do think it gets hotter than it used to get.
A little bit, but it's not miserable enough yet.
No, no, oh no. I mean, and there's thunderstorms, but they're up in the mountains. But I've seen some down here in the where we live, and that's unusual. Um, I just can tell it's different.
Yeah, the tides are a little higher, you know, the ocean level's a little higher. But nobody perceives that here locally hardly. It's a couple of inches higher, you know, it's gone up. Hey, hi, Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Okay, hello.
Hello, how's it?
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, how's everybody doing?
Well, we're
Well,
just chatting. We tried to do the meeting and we got to where we were looking at the American Union website. And later I was going to go to the Action Network and explore that as part of the meeting, but we're just chatting now. So I would like to just chat with you for a minute, Brian, just to get,
Yeah.
how did your weekend go? And
yeah,
Uh, well, it did not go as well as I had hoped. Um,
right?
the the March for Our Lives protest on Saturday, I got the time wrong because I was looking at so many events around North Carolina, and I thought the one in Raleigh was from like 12 to 2. And no, it started at 10 o'clock.
Oh, bum.
So I got there when it was right when it was over, and I missed it. So I was pretty frustrated with that. But then I got to Washington D.C. that night, and I was staying in a hostel which was downtown, and apparently there was like it was right next to like all the bars and everything, and so I drove around for an hour and a half trying to find a parking spot. It was very frustrating.
Oh,
Anyways,
bummer. An hour
just
and
a
a half.
side
Oh, no.
side rant about parking. And then the conference was okay, but the people there were very, very focused on climate and very focused on, they were less interested in a larger issue,
Yeah.
larger issues. With the exception of some people, I did a breakout session on community building within like in in community building. And so there were a couple Spanish speaking organizers that were hosting it. And so they wanted to know if I had Spanish language material. And I said, I have a draft. I haven't actually printed anything. But they were excited and they were like, yeah, the ending mass incarceration is a really important thing. And so they were more supportive. And I got a chance to, talk to other people. I met some, introduced myself to some of the speakers and got their contact information. So try and follow up with them um, this week. But it wasn't, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, I like to swing for the fences, and this one was maybe a single. Maybe it was a foul.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Um, I went to the conference on Zoom and I also connected with a couple people. My North County group's got 973 people in it. And she was in there. And anyway, I connected with 3 of the leaders and someone else that's very friendly. And then at first I thought, oh yeah, this is great. And then I realized they're so deep into it right now that you either catch up with them or you really don't serve much of a purpose unless you in their understanding right where they're at with this legislation and stuff. And it's like they're deep in it with reconciliation and
But so the reconciliation idea is that this carbon fee and dividend gets tacked on to a much larger piece of legislation. So maybe that I didn't think of it approaching it that way, but yeah, of saying, look, this is a reconciliation for the American people.
right. And so it's just, and you know, and there was a lot of Republicans involved that because that's where the rub is. That's where the pushback is with the Republicans. So they're working to get them. And when they get a Republican on board, they show him off or her off. And but I'm trying to figure out how this all works together because it all fits into my idea of the citizens assembly lobby kind of thing. I mean, it's like, I don't know who wrote the legislation they're proposing. I don't know if they write it or.
It's changed a little bit over the years. So each Congress has a slightly different version. So, but yeah, I think they have a lobbying firm that does it. Because I had some questions. I was asking them about the legislation in the forum, and they told me who redrafted it. So, Chiwa, had you been involved with the Citizens Climate Lobby before, or did TC?
I'm a member of the Citizens Climate Lobby, have been for a couple of years.
Yeah,
but I haven't ever really done anything with them. I have put more of my focus into Al Gore's thing, the Climate Reality local chapter, being involved with them.
Okay. I'm not familiar with them, but I've heard a couple of people mention something along those lines.
Al Gore does these trainings all around the world, and mostly they're doing them online now. For 3 days, you learn all the bad stuff about what's happening with the climate. And then there's a little bit of focus on the end, and he sums it up with, can we? Yes, we can. Will we? Well, we don't know. And it's not, so but the local groups are doing things like I'm part of a group here locally that is setting up gardens in different places around the county. But there are different groups focusing on a bunch of different issues. And one group has been pretty active over the last couple of years with county government and helped a bunch of Democrats to get elected last time. So, I can't be involved with everything, but what I really appreciate about the Citizens Climate Lobby is that they are bringing Republicans into the climate picture. And I see Republicans are the only people who can talk to climate deniers. They're the only people they'll listen to, if they'll listen at all.
Yes. Yeah, they're very, very big on being nonpartisan.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Well, my mind's a blank right now. It's not surprising. Where do we go from here, Brian? We're here to study the American blueprint.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to answer questions or what. I don't know if whatever
I'm just
like,
saying,
or what are you asking?
I'm asking you as I don't know how even to refer to you, if you're the founder, leader, head chef, I think you call yourself. Head cook and bottle washer or something, I think they call it.
That sounds about right.
where do you see us going next?
Yeah, it's getting late in the game. So the urgent things on my plate is just trying to focus on North Carolina and trying to increase the ground game here, with signs and texting and emails and stuff, and trying to again just get a critical mass of people to spark the national conversation.
Are you going to be able to go back to Washington, DC this week?
Yes,
All right.
I'm flying back to New Hampshire tonight, in the morning, and then I'll be driving back to Washington DC on the way back to North
Oh,
Carolina.
your other cars in New Hampshire.
My backup vehicle, yeah.
Oh, cool. What a life, huh? Yeah, I was saying, what a time to be alive. It's like so much happening, and I lost what I wrote about that. But this is the time for us to come together and do big things.
Mhm.
So let's just get some excitement again about the fact that this is a good idea. It's worthy of attention. It's the beginning. So it's like, how do you join without, it's how do you collaborate, really, is what it is. How do you let that group be that group? And the American Union is the American Union. And yet you can have people in both groups. I mean, how do you,
I'm
how do
not, I guess, what's the conflict?
well, neither one of them gets a critical mass.
Oh, okay.
See, if everybody's got their own group,
Gotcha. I see what you're saying now.
and it's just like North Carolina, they had 11 today, counting me.
Okay.
And that's, for them, that's growing.
Yeah.
We're not growing in this group. But I didn't advertise it today. I thought Nissan was coming, but I guess he went somewhere else.
Yeah. You're not, yeah, you're absolutely right. That it's problematic to spread ourselves too thin, or
How do you get all these groups to come together and do something, put their energy together to do something?
well,
Well,
my goal is to persuade them that this is how we change the system so it works for us. That forming a new political party isn't going to do it. That we got to change the actual structure.
we decided that where it says Republicans and Democrats divide us,
Yeah.
American Union can unite us. We decided in third parties distract us.
Yeah, we think it needs a third line there. That's because TC was talking to them. They wanted to start their third party.
Yeah. I don't blame them. I used to do the 30 third parties 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I guess you have to go through it for a long time before you really give up on it.
Yeah. It's pretty entrenched. So, Chiwa, any other suggestions? The website is due. It's due for updates. So if you have any other suggestions on things, feel free to let me know.
I'd have to take a closer look at it.
Yeah. But I need to update some of the content on it. It's on my list.
I really like that line at the top.
Well, that's why we put it on the
That's the core,
So
That's our yard signs.
what?
I can't see it very well.
Oh, you can't see it?
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Wait a minute. There we
Oh.
go.
Okay,
Republican.
okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Those were
That
bigger
is
than I
cool.
thought.
Well, see, we got some people, who see that and go to the website, but we need lots more. So, but I got a stash of probably 300-400 signs in New Hampshire. So on my way back, I'll be spreading them all around. And we'll see.
Yeah, show me that again. That was good.
I'm pretty sure you voted on this, TC.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it in full bore.
okay.
Full.
Vote
Yeah, you can
smarter,
see
solve
that good from,
problems.
that's easy to see from the road. It's,
I feel bad because they're plastic signs. And I
yeah.
don't, you know, I just,
Yeah,
I don't know what else to do.
we're caught in this situation, you know, it's like, it's very hard.
It is like, yeah, I wish there was just like some simple way to like get people's attention that, but there isn't. Yard signs are fortunately kind of like a necessary evil to try and build name recognition.
Why did you use plastic
Price.
as opposed to the price
Um,
of
Well, actually,
what?
so two parts. One part is price. The other part is ease of assembly. Because if you get the printed ones, which I've used in the past and are good for doing like totems for doing sine waves and stuff, but then you've got to fold each one in half and staple it and then put it on. Whereas these I can assemble about 200 an hour, 150,
wow.
200 an hour. Yeah. So yeah. So cheaper price, faster assembly. Plastic.
I got into a place of, I told you earlier, Brian, a little bit about, I, I've been challenged to my belief that I'm not enough and that there's something wrong with me and that um, I need to do it different. And I thought I was over that, but it's really affecting me and it's taking my energy. So I'm just telling you that so that you'll know kind of why I'm a little bit off, I'm not feeling up to par. Yeah, I've been told that I should get out and be more active and all this kind of stuff. And I've tried that many times and it just doesn't work for me. And I'm happy doing, and I tried to explain to the guy, I'm happy doing what I was doing, but he convinced me that I'm not.
You know what, TC? I see that you're happy doing what you're doing. You
Yeah.
really like sitting at your computer and communicating with people all over the country. You're doing it great.
I told him when I was younger and I first started smoking pot, I thought, man, I'd like to just sit around, smoke pot and think about shit. And that's what I get to do now. It's like I get to do what I wanted to do. And so then I'm trying to tell myself, so am I being of any value? And what is that about? No, my worth is a given. You see, it's like I don't have to earn value to have worth. But I have to create that sense within myself that I have worth. And that got smashed. So anyway, I'm glad you're here tonight. And so I'm ready to get back on it somehow. I don't know. You're going to go to the People's Campaign though, right?
With the Forward Party chapter in DC.
Yeah.
To see if there was trying to reach out to them for volunteers to help distribute literature to the Poor People's Campaign about UBI.
Oh, that's the other thing. It's like this carbon tax sounds like they're going to give the money back to the people like a UBI.
They are still going to do that? That's in the plan?
They're right now, they're thinking they'll be lucky to get anything passed at all, I think, is where they're looking at reconciliation. So there's a limit to what they can get done.
Sneaking it through, sort of.
Yeah. But then they'll say that they've got this done, they got that passed and this passed. But then I showed Chiwa this video that came up about how the military wants to go green. Oh, and then it was like Bernie wants to cut the military 10%. He should join the American Union. I don't understand. I mean, it's like, and I was watching North Carolina go through their platform and I thought, we got something much better than that. If you want some details, check out the blueprint there, then you can get some details for your platform.
Yeah, I forgot about the North Carolina meeting. Trying to pack and sort through stuff.
Yeah.
Find my spare set of car keys. Hopefully I can find.
Gas has gone crazy. I mean, it's like $6 here now. So
Yeah, that's the cheapest gas at the cheapest station.
That's at Costco. Kelly was at Costco and it was 603. And yeah, so I mean, it's like, oh, and I'm watching these hearings and it's like, this country is in so much trouble. I mean, we're so like not functioning. I mean, we just and then I shared this thing with Eddie about, I saw a video where they said that instead of doing the statistics for who's most democratic, they asked the people who they felt, what people felt most democratic. And so they, guess who didn't think they were democratic? The Americans. The United States don't feel democratic. They feel like they're in an oligarchy. And the Chinese feel like they're in a democracy because they get their stuff done. And the reason it works for them is because you can only rise up through what's called mediocre. It's meritocracy.
Meritocracy.
You have to do good things for the people to move up. And so they don't even vote for the president. The president has to earn his position. And if you don't do good, they'll hold you accountable, which is something that's never happened in this country. Or
What do you mean? I mean, I guess many people would say that the 2020 election was exactly that, right? That you replaced an incumbent president because people didn't think they were doing good.
Well,
the rub is,
and now he ought to be in jail, and
right.
they're not moving
Right.
really fast on that.
Right.
He might end up in the White House again.
This hearing shows him to have planned this from way back in the beginning of, like, as far back, I think, as April of the year of the election. He was saying the only way that I can be beaten is if they cheat. And he kept beating that drum up until the election. And then when they, and there's the, oh, anyway, he should be held accountable, and it doesn't look like he's going to be.
No, it's not looking that way at all.
No, they'll tell a story and get us all spun up, and meanwhile the war will continue, and the beat goes on. No Medicare, nothing for the people.
Well, I watched a video today called The Parallel Society versus Totalitarianism, How to Create a Free World. And it was about what they did in, I can't even remember where it was, some communist country, where they just started ignoring the government, and at local levels just started creating their own parallel systems. And I know what it was. It was in Eastern Europe. And they was saying basically that was the reason that the Iron Curtain fell, was that the people just started creating their own system so they could function even if the government failed, and totally ignore the government and act outside the government. And that's probably the safest, the most likely to succeed path to go with the governments as they are.
Well,
forget about them.
That's what I'm calling for, that the Citizens Assembly outside of the government.
The Citizen Assembly is
And
a version of that.
We start out with what Brian did. We get some legislation, we get a bunch of people to agree to it, and then we give it to the legislation and put pressure on them to pass it. And then eventually enough people will understand that we can actually write better legislation than what they're doing. And at that point, they'll just become functionaries. They won't have any real power. They'll just be functionaries.
What's wrong with, I mean, the same way that, the kings and queens, are like just dignitaries, they're figureheads.
Right. They're just,
that's fine. Let everybody run. Whoever wants to be our figurehead congressman, that's fine, as long as they're willing to be the people's rubber stamp.
Right.
Because
So
again, because making that change doesn't require amending the Constitution. We can just overlay this system right over the existing one.
So you're on it, Brian, and I really appreciate it. I wish I was in a better mood right now, and I hope that's become more supportive going forward.
All right. Well,
And I'm going to push both of this and the union, the lobby, because it's like, I don't know, it's like they may blend somehow, somewhere, some way. They may, I may start it up with one of them or two, just say, look, we got that in the blueprint for a better America. It's like, might be easier to get it all done at once. You got the people to do it. Maybe if you could talk it up amongst yourselves.
well, I got email contacts for a couple of people there. So in my free time, I need to follow up with them.
Well, I'm going to be doing that too. I mean, I got a group. I'm in a group. I wrote two things, and I got some likes. So that's all I care about. All right, we're at the hour.